What's going on, guys? This is another episode here in Nolan's Pod. Today is game day. It's Thursday morning. We finally made to game day. Game one of the NBA Finals is tonight. Thunder, OKC goes up against the Indiana Pacers. It's going down. Game one tonight. The Thunder, of course, have the home court advantage. Obviously, everybody's counting out Indiana. I'm not counting out Indiana. Um, and obviously Indiana's the underdog, rightfully so. We can't count out Indiana. Um, the first round they went against Milwaukee. We knew they were going to beat Milwaukee. In the second round when they went against Cleveland, they got counted out in that series. In the second round against Cleveland, they beat Cleveland. They got counted out. In the Eastern Conference Finals when they went against the Knicks. And they won that series, and now they're in the finals against OKC, and they're obviously getting counted out. I'm not saying that Indiana's going to win the championship. No, I'm not saying that. They're capable of it, but I'm not saying they are. But I'm telling you guys to sit up here and count them out. Well, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. OKC, they are different. They are a different team than what Indiana has had to go through in the Eastern Conference. This is a Western Conference team. They are deep. They are loaded. They are ready to finish the job. Indiana's going to have their hands full, but OKC's also going to have their hands full. I think since last year, OKC against the Eastern Conference is 29-1 against the Eastern Conference since last year. Their last loss against the Eastern Conference opponent at home was in 2024. That was against, let's see. Oh yeah, the Indiana Pacers. So yeah, yeah. Right on cue. Right on cue. So yeah. So if Indiana could get a split, if they can get a split, that'll be good for them going back home for game 3 and game 4. Obviously, if you're OKC, you want to win the first 2 games at home. But if you're OKC, you obviously want. I think OKC is okay with a split too, but you don't want to give Indiana any confidence that they can possibly win this series or go up and take a series lead. If Indiana was to win game 1 tonight, we have a series. If they win game 1 tonight, we have a series. They could lose game 1 and they could win game 2. We still have a series. It just doesn't matter. If Indiana leaves with a split, they'll be happy. Trust me, going back home. They'll be right where they want to be. If you're Indiana, you don't have a choice but to try and get a split, because when you go back home for game 3 and 4, you don't want to be down against OKC 2-0 going back home for game 3 and 4. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. OKC, they are different. They are different. They are different. And if Indiana goes home for 3 and 4 and they're down 2-0, you could just hand the trophy to OKC, because Indiana's not coming back. Indiana's a good home team with a great home crowd, but this Thunder team is so different, man. The keys for Indiana, you have Halliburton, obviously. You got Siakam, who's won a championship. You have Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, Miles Turner. One thing I would tell you guys is the key for the Indiana Pacers, who's the second most important player other than Halliburton on this Indiana Pacers team in this series? It's not Pascal Siakam. It's Miles Turner. I'm going to tell you why. If Miles Turner can knock down a couple of threes, that pulls Hartenstein, and that pulls Chet away from the basket. If Siakam is hitting his jump shot and his threes, that pulls the two of those guys away from the basket. Indiana can play a 5-out type offense. They can play a 5-out type offense because all their guys can shoot. Even the guy coming off the bench, December Thomas Bryant, Obi Toppin, they can all shoot. So that's the advantage Indiana. Make Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren come out to defend you. If they can do that and they can knock down a couple of treys, that opens up everything. And Indiana can get downhill. And that gets Indiana out running. That gets them easy baskets. We all know that Indiana likes to run. We all know they're going to get easy baskets. We all know that they run. That's their strength. But this Thunder team is so different because they are so good defensively. So something's going to have to give. Indiana's so good offensively. And OKC so good defensively. Halliburton's, he's going to see a different type of defense that he has not seen. I'm telling you, he has not seen this OKC team. They going to throw Dort on him. Then they going to throw Caruso on him. Then Casey Wallace is going to be on him. You're going to have SGA on him at times. And then they might even throw J-Dub at him once or twice. You know what I'm saying? So, OKC's defense is a strength. That's a strength for OKC. We know that. The second thing for Indiana, man, don't turn the basketball over against this OKC team. Indiana, last series in kind of the whole playoffs, their thing is just turnovers. If they don't turn the ball over, Indiana, they're going to be just fine. If they turn the ball over, they're playing right into OKC's hands. Indiana likes to play fast, and sometimes with them playing so fast, they kind of get out of control and turn the ball over. So the key for Indiana is don't turn the ball over. And if you're going to play fast, which we know that they are going to do, make sure you control the ball and value the possession. Each possession in the finals is important. One bad possession could cost you a championship. Take care of the basketball, Indiana. I am sure that Rick Carlisle has already addressed this with his team. And try to do not, if you're Indiana, you like to run. Don't set this OKC defense up in the half court. You don't want to be running half court offense against this OKC team. You don't want to do it. I'm telling you, they will lock you down. Get out and get as many easy baskets as you can, Indiana. Something's got to give. Offense, defense, Indiana. Offensively, great. OKC, great defensively. Something's got to give. Either Indiana's going to really score and have their will against OKC, or OKC's going to continue what they've done all season and lock the best offensive team in the league down. Something's got to give in this series to win a championship for both of these teams. Number 3 for Indiana. They have a lot of depth. They're going to go 10 guys deep. OKC has a lot of depth. They're going to go about 10 guys deep. Who in this series, whose bench is going to stay true to what they are? Whose bench is going to stay true to what they are? If Indiana's bench outplays OKC's bench, Indiana has a chance. Vice versa, the other way around. If OKC's bench outplays Indiana's bench in this series, advantage OKC. So whose bench is going to outplay each other? That's the determining factor. Those are my 3 things for Indiana. OKC. OKC's so good defensively. We know what they're going to give you defensively. We know what they're going to give us. Offensively, at times, OKC's offense could be a little bit sporadic. And they rely on SGA a little bit. Rightfully so. He's the MVP. I would rely on SGA too. The second important player in this series for OKC, other than SGA, is J-Dub. If J-Dub balls out and Chet Holmgren balls out, and they help SGA, Indiana has no chance. The one player that I'm not letting beat me is SGA. J-Dub, Chet, and the other guys and the other role players for OKC, that's who's going to have to beat me. I'm not letting SGA beat me. I'm getting the ball out of SGA's hands every chance I get. If I'm Indiana and I'm Rick Carlisle and I'm Rick Carlisle's coaching staff, I'm already telling my team going into tonight, we double team the SGA every chance we get. If J-Dub and Chet Holmgren and the role players, if they beat us, hey, I live by that. But I'm not letting the MVP beat me. And I'm not playing him single coverage man-to-man. I'm not doing it. And trying to throw Aaron Nesmith on him, and trying to throw Benedict Mathurin on him, and trying to throw Ben Shepherd on him. Or Halliburton at times, or Nimhart. I'm not doing that. Yes, those guys are all going to have a turn to guard SGA. But SGA, you getting double teamed. I'm sorry, bro. You getting double teamed. I'm not letting that kid beat me. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. So, J-Dub is the key in this game to help out SGA. When he helps SGA and J-Dub is the player that he is, J-Dub can give you 18 to 20 points a game. If he does that, and Chet contributes and gives you about 15 to 17 points, it's over. OKC, I got OKC. If that happens, if those guys don't contribute to help SGA, the Thunder are in a world of trouble. And then on top of that, I seen the Denver Nuggets throw a zone at the OKC Thunder in the second round, and that gave OKC a little bit of trouble, a little bit of fits. Can Indiana do enough defensively to stop OKC from what they want to do offensively? Indiana, we know they're not great defensively, but they are better. They are way better than they were defensively than they were last year when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now they're in the finals. So Indiana, they are an okay defensive team. They've improved since last year on that. They're not no OKC though. So if I'm Indiana, I'm also throwing a zone at OKC just to confuse their offense, because that gave OKC trouble when they played Denver. So that's something that I would have watched on film too, preparing for this team. Number 3 for OKC, Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. The double big lineup. Indiana could possibly play one of those two guys off the floor, especially Chet. But we also know that Mark Daigneault, he's not afraid of going small. He's not afraid of going small and having J-Dub play center at times. He's not afraid of that. So will Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren get played off the floor by this Indiana Pacers offense? And if so, it's not necessarily that that's a bad thing, because like I said, Daigneault, he likes to go small. OKC has went small. They have no problem going small. Matter of fact, they're at their best when they do go small. So that's not a problem, but it could be a problem because you have Chet Holmgren as your line of defense. You have Hartenstein as your line of defense. And if one of them is played off the floor, that gives Indiana easy opportunities to get downhill, get to the basket, and get easy fast break points at the rim. You know what I'm saying? So does one of those two bigs get played off the floor? Specifically Hartenstein. OKC's not a three-point shooting team. So in Indiana, they like to get them up. That's another key. If Indiana hits threes and OKC doesn't, that's another key factor. One other thing that I worry about is rebounding. I worry about rebounding for Indiana because OKC has that double big lineup and they can get on the boards and they going to rebound. And then you got Dort, he's going to get down there, he's going to rebound too. You got SGA, he's going to get down there, he's going to rebound. But the three key guys, especially defensively for OKC. Caruso, Dort, and Casey Wallace. Your back line, and if you get past those guys, which is hard to get past, your line of defenses back there, 2 7-footers with Hartenstein and Chet. So that's what I'm saying for Indiana. If you can space the floor and play 5 out, and Miles Turner and Siakam can hit a couple of treys, that opens things up. That pulls Hartenstein away from the basket. That pulls Chet Holmgren away from the basket. That possibly plays Hartenstein or Chet off the floor because they have to defend away from the basket. Let's see what else. Indiana's a good free throw shooting team. So is OKC. So free throws won't be a problem. One thing I would say, we know SGA is going to get to the free throw line. We know the whistle's going to be on his side. He's the MVP, rightfully so. What they call SGA, the free throw merchant or something like that. We know the whistle going to be on his side. So, with the referees that's refereeing this series, they going to let him play, and they going to call some things too. One thing that Stephen A. Smith said, if the referees let OKC play physical defensively, because OKC is one of the most physical teams. That's why I said that Indiana can't turn the ball over. When they play fast, you can't turn the ball over. When OKC is playing physical defense, you can't turn the ball over. OKC is one of the most physical teams in the NBA defensively, and they're going to get after you. Stephen A. Smith said, if the referees let OKC play physical defensively, the series is over in 5. But he said if they call it tight, it goes 6. I agree with that though. That's no lie. That's no cap. I agree with that 100%. If the referees let OKC play physical defense like they done all year long anyway, 5. Physical defense, grit and grind, SGA, J-Dub, Chet, OKC in 5. If they call it tight, I say 6 games. So yeah, I say 6 too. I have OKC winning this series. I think it'll go 6. I just don't like the fact that people are underestimating Indiana. I think that Indiana could get a split in this game. Or in this series rather. They could get a split at OKC. And if they do get a split, they're right where they want to be going up. Going home, game 3 and 4, if they get a split. If OKC wins the first 2 games at home, which a lot of people expect them to do, when they go back to Indiana for game 3 and 4, Indiana's in the world of trouble. You might as well hand the championship to OKC then when they go to Indiana, because it's gonna be over. Aaron Nesmith, can he keep playing out of his mind, especially offensively? Can he keep playing out of his mind? Can he keep hitting timely threes? Nembhard's going to have to be better than what he was in the Eastern Conference Finals. Miles Turner, Siakam knocked down a couple of treys. That opens up the defense. We know what Halliburton's going to do. I don't have to talk about him because we know he's going to show up. We know the bench is going to show up for Indiana. OKC, we know SGA is going to show up. J-Dub, Chet, if y'all show up, series is done. Okay, we got OKC. If y'all show up. If the bench shows up and contributes too, like they've done all year long, and they outplay Indiana's bench in this series, advantage OKC. And another thing that I would say, Indiana has an advantage in this with the coaching. Rick Carlisle has been to a finals and has won a finals. Mark Daigneault is a coach of the year. He's a coach of the year, former coach of the year, and this is his first finals. And one thing about it is why I say don't count out to any other Pacers. Rick Carlisle is a championship head coach that won a championship in Dallas. Rick Carlisle is a coach that his team got counted out in that 2011 championship run. They were counted out when they went against the Big Three Miami Heat. They were the underdog, a severe underdog. And they are a severe underdog in this series against OKC. And that Rick Carlisle team, they beat the Heat, the Miami Big Three with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. They beat the Big Three and won the championship. And you know what they did? Game one of that series they won game one of that 2011 finals. They won game one in Miami. That's what they did. I'm telling you, coaching experience is going to play a factor in here. Rick Carlisle has a lot of experience. He's been there, done that. He's seen everything just about. Mark Daigneault is a tremendous coach, but he has not been there before like Rick Carlisle has. If Rick Carlisle outcoaches Mark Daigneault, advantage Indiana. Rick Carlisle outcoached Tom Thibodeau. Last series, he outcoached Kenny Atkinson in the second round. He outcoached Doc Rivers in the first round. Mark Daigneault has done the same with OKC. He outcoached Chris Finch in the Western Conference Finals. He outcoached the Denver coach. I forget his name. The new Denver coach, David Adelman, in the second round. And then in the first round, he outcoached the Memphis coach. I can't even say the Memphis coach's name, but he outcoached those guys. It's advantage Indiana as far as coaching goes. Mark Daigneault has never been in this situation before. If Rick Carlisle outcoaches him, Indiana. So we got game one tonight. Those are my keys. Something's got to give. Either OKC's going to continue to be great defensively, or either Indiana's going to continue to be great offensively. Let me know in the comments who you think's going to win this championship. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out of here.